Hey guys, People here, and today's video is going to be about this, the newly revealed / released, depending on when you watch this video, ECD, or East Coast Dies Rebel Offense Head. Yes, there is a defensive version, but this will be about the offensive version. Unfortunately, my version here is one of the last prototypes that before the final product that you will be getting out there in the world. Final product basically just has some texturings and words and stuff on it that wouldn't be on it otherwise if it was like my version. So this one's somewhat on the smooth, clear side. So it doesn't have, like, on the bottoms it would say made in the USA, Rebel Offense, stuff like that, or ECD, Rebel, all that stuff, all the little texturings and the emblems and stuff like that. So pretty clean right off the bat. I'll try and remember what the texturings are like so that it can kind of give you an idea. But right off the bat, I gotta say this head is like a combination of the original Mirage by ECD and a Stallion 700. It's like those two had a baby. So that's what we're dealing with here. Just one really good head combined with a really decent first head from a company. So the Mirage was the first head from ECD, and then the Stallion 700 is years worth of R&D and other heads and so on and so forth put into the Stallion 700, and this is just basically a baby between those two, and it's really nice. First thing you notice is face shape. You kind of, like, the video doesn't really do it much justice. It looks like it's really wide. It's a little bit wider visually than the Mirage is, just because of dimensions and so on and so forth of the plastic, but it's actually pretty tight face shape. It meets the 3-inch rule easily. The scoop meets NCAA and NFHS specs. It's very tight. Like, there's no real extra space. There's no need for it. Sidewall holes are still oval, so that's real good. When you actually look at it, you can see that, like, the first 3 sidewall holes are rectangular in shape. I mean, that's a lot like the Stallion. It's not like the Mirage. Mirage were all oval. Sidewall holes are oval after those first 3 or 4. Yeah, those first 3 sidewall holes are rectangular in nature, and then the rest are oval, which is really good. I don't really like diamond-shaped sidewall holes. Ovals or round ones are pretty solid, and then if you want to do something fancy, oval's good because you can fit more than one string through there, but at the same time, if you only do one string, it doesn't shift around a whole lot. Plenty of sidewall holes. It's not a whole lot, but if you want, I will count it for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, which is about the average sidewall hole count for heads these days. Unlike where, I mean, we do know String King has, what, 29 sidewall holes on their newer heads? It's a pretty decent amount. But either way, decent amount of sidewall holes, not too many, not too little, and they're spaced out pretty much perfectly. I didn't have any problems getting this pocket in here. As you can see, there's a little bit of a difference as far as sidewall construction. They pretty much, if you want to compare, there is a strut missing down here. That strut is not on this one. And then the struts themselves are pretty much the same size. They're spaced a little bit differently so that there's still a lot of structural strength. If you move over to the defensive version, there's a decent amount more plastic where the struts connect with the sidewalls, and the sidewalls are a little bit slightly beefier. So all in all, it makes it very strong head, especially in the defensive version. I tried tightening down my sidewalls as tight as possible to try and get the head to warp like some heads will do out there. Didn't happen. Great design that way. Really strong material for the head. Top string holes are big enough for pretty much any leather you want to put in it. Or if you want to do a 4, 3, 2 string, top string, whatever fanciness you want to do. There's 6 of them, so you can do a 6 shooter if you want, or an 8 shooter, depending on what you want to do, because with the mesh, when you string mesh into it, the first row will easily attach into the second sidewall hole, so you can do all sorts of fancy stuff if you really want to. The holes are big enough, spaced out well enough. Moving into the scoop, though, this is kind of where it comes in being very similar of the Stallion 700 to me. The scoop has kind of the whole, it's not quite the same, but it's very similar. It's a good way to fix the problem that the Mirage had, where the scoop was just a little too pointed and a little too flat. The scoop is much more curved now, a little bit more rounded, and then this right here allows the ground balls to be a lot smoother as well, whether you're on grass or on turf. Got to have it on both, because a lot of people out there still play on grass. But so that will protect your top string, that little lip right there. And all in all, top string's area is really good. When you get into the final product version, there is a little bit of something as far as textures going on. Your top string area, this little lip on the back here that your top string will sit against, that will have some texturing on it that will allow the string to not slip as easily. Same thing with the sidewalls. The back side of the sidewall, this plastic flatness here, will have texturing as well, so that'll grip the string, will grip the plastic and vice versa, so your knots won't slip once you really lock them in. Not easily anyway. So yeah, top scoop, I don't have any complaints with the top scoop at all. Moving into the actual throat area, we're going to go with the bottom holes. Bottom holes are big enough for pretty much whatever you want to put in there for your bottom string. Personally, I would say that they're really only big enough for 8 ounce or your traditionally sized leathers. If you can figure out a way to get a bigger one in there without cracking the plastic, because of all the pressure that the leather's going to create, go for it. My style of doing leathers is I like to have my 2 outer leathers wider setting. So the leathers will pretty much come straight down and go into one of these bottom sidewall holes to have a wider setting and allow the pocket to sit lower. But so bottom holes are big enough for leathers. And there's spaces in the throat area. There would be not a gem, but a plaque of ECD's emblem right here in the final product, if you're wondering where mine is. And then you'll have a nice Rebel ball stop. But as far as traditionals go, you can get fancy and have tie-offs around the plastics and everything like that, and it won't shift down, whereas with the Mirage, there were no holes. You would have to wrap around like I did here in order to have secure leathers. Yeah, all in all, I have to say this is probably going to be one of the best heads for the 2018 season and beyond. It's definitely a really good competitor against the Stallion 700 and some of the String King heads out there. So kudos to ECD for taking a decent head, a really decent head from the Mirage, and just improving on it so well. Taking little things. It's not even a huge difference between the two heads, but they took so many good little things and incorporated it in and took some things out and just made it a better head. So I believe the price point's supposed to be between $80 and $90 for these heads. I could be wrong. I have not seen a price point as of yet, because I don't believe at the time of me making this video, they were not selling them, but they were putting them in the stores and stuff like that. They had not been up for sale yet. But so, yeah. Price point wise, really decent head. Get you one. Go take a look at it. I mean, the sidewalls and everything like that, it's just overall a greatly improved head. Strings up really well. I threw a trad in one for somebody else, and it takes trad really well, takes mesh really well. I mean, I don't really have any complaints about this head. I mean, it's got the 2 screw holes. It's got 2 screw holes. Yes! Yes! 2 screw holes, where this one only had 1. It's just one of the that is literally one of my biggest issues with heads these days, is they don't have a good screw hole design, or they only have 1 screw hole. You gotta have 2, especially if you're gonna be putting out heads that are gonna be defensive versions. Have to do it. So, good job on that, ECD. But in general, for this head, for this really well-designed head, I gotta give ECD all sorts of kudos. Great job, guys. I hope I get my hands on a defensive one to see the slight differences, the real slight differences, not just looking at it, but get a feel for it. But all in all, really decent weight too. So yeah, before I really start getting rambling on and on and on again, thanks for watching, guys. Check you out the ECD Rebel Offense on the market. Get you one, or at least go take a look at it. If your buddy has it, use it. Get you one in your hands. See how you like it. Personally, it's probably going to be one of my favorite heads for 2018. So, thanks, guys.